What is going on, everybody? Welcome, strangers. It is 10/17/17, the debut of your new favorite channel on YouTube, Past from the Future. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is your very first episode. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. Have some great stuff in store for you here on this channel here. If you're a fan of wrestling, if you're a fan of retro wrestling, if you're a fan of gaming, if you're a fan of retro gaming, this is your channel. Like, subscribe, watch first. If you like it, tune in for more. If you subscribe, then there'll be much more coming your way. If you hit that notification button, you'll be notified of every new episode on the daily. That is right, full-time job, that's what we want here. And real quick, let me just run this down for you guys, that if you'd be so generous to support my dream, if you could donate as little as $1 to $3 a month, you could help me support my dream, and I can give you content for the next 30 years. That's right, we're trying to go big here, and I'm not going to be shy about this. We're trying to make a living here, bringing you entertainment, working from my home, giving you the best quality entertainment you're going to find just for you. So let's not waste any more time. We got a Raw recap and review for you today. The show opens up with the recap of last week's Raw. This is from Monday, October 16th, 2017, from Portland, Oregon. Your Monday Night Raw from last night. At the time, they deemed everyone on the top of the card, wrestling at this time is getting pushed to the top of the card. So every wrestler they deem top of the card worthy, they are pushing to the top of the card. There's just like no mid-card on Raw right now. There's nothing there. I mean, you got your Balors and your Brays, which is locked in for eternity. And then you got Samoa Joe, who's injured. Other than that, like, where's the mid-card on Monday Night Raw? Like, there's no mid-card there. I mean, there's a few other guys. I mean, you could throw in there, you could throw in the Drifter. But there's really not much going on there. It's like they lost the Universal Championship. Brock didn't want to drop the title, and now you just got them scrambling for a main event scene. It's really obvious, you know, what they're doing here. At the beginning of the show, you get that dramatic narrator recap. If you go back and see it, I like what they're doing there. They're adding that same dynamic that they added to SmackDown a while back. You got your you got that dramatic narrator voice recapping the previous week's episode, which actually I think is pretty cool. It gets you hyped for the episode. It reminds you that this is a series and there's ongoing feuds, and whatever you missed last week doesn't matter. As long as you're here now, we'll give you a little rundown on what's going on. Kurt Angle comes out. He addresses our Portland, Oregon crowd. He announces that the Shield will be facing The Miz, Braun Strowman, and The Bar for the first time at TLC, which I found humorous because he said at first time, and it's most likely the last time. This 3-on-4, at least at the moment, what they were calling it. So that's, stay tuned and you'll see what happens at the end of the show, barring that first time ever 3 versus 4 Shield versus The Miz and The Bar. You're interrupted by the Shield coming out to their original theme song. You get that radio bit that sneaks in right before the donna, donna, donna. You know how it goes. So you get that bit there in the beginning, and then you get your classic Shield from 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, coming down the crowd like they did back when Roman was over. So you get this as the opening segment of your show. You get you get that little nostalgia act, you know, just everybody knows right off the bat. Like this is our main, this is our our secret sauce right here. You know, the Shield. They're not being shy about it. Like this is our main attraction, and this is what we got right now. Since there's no one-on-one main attraction anymore, at least they're since the Universal title is gone. They just don't have anything on the main for the main card for the main event. So this is what they're putting together, which I think is a shame. Which stay tuned for my how they should have booked the return of the Shield, the reunite of the Shield video coming your way soon. And this whole thing could have been way more interesting. It's just the way they're booking it now. It's just this big old scrambled mess on a plate. And I feel like it's just a mess. I mean, you got like what, 8 guys on the top of the card, you know, like what are they fighting for? What are they fighting for? Like pride, you know? The Shield reunites just to take on like every major heel on the Raw roster, you know. That it's, you know, it's just like Survivor Series already, you know. So Ambrose looks to have gotten a trim. His hair looks shorter. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Saw that. Kurt selling the Shield as a very intimidating force. He's like standing off-ish from the Shield, doesn't want to get his ass kicked. But I think he could take Dean Ambrose in a fight. I would love to see some Kurt Angle versus Dean Ambrose. That's just me though. But Kurt does a very good job of selling. But you can tell, like he's like, I can hang with any one of you guys, and I'm pretty sure I could whoop Dean Ambrose. And that's what I'd like to see. But still fantasy booking right there. So you get that in the beginning of your show. I think, and then you get Roman Reigns addressing Kurt, and he takes the mic from him. Reigns commends Angle and says it's a good thing that you relinquish the yard, because anyone who doesn't is going to get their ass kicked, paraphrasing. You know, Roman, he is the best. He's the best when he's a man of few words. Suffer succotash, that's all I gotta say. You know, this show I found to be very average. I'm just gonna be real. I think I'd rather be watching Ring of Honor wrestling. But I'm bringing you guys the reviews that you want. Let me know what you think when it's all said and done. Corey Graves reminds us how many people the Shield have defeated, and I don't like that. I think they should call the wrestlers. They don't call them people. It's like these weird vocabulary things that Vince has them, these scripts he's having them go off of. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, if they just laid waste to many wrestlers, call them wrestlers. It just sounds awkward when they call them people. So, just thought, you know, that stood out to me. I thought it was very just noticeable, you know, laying waste to people. You know, I like it better when they laid waste to wrestlers. It's just, it puts it in a better perspective, and it reminds you that they're in a context of wrestling. I noticed that, just the details. You get the 4 opponents come out to address the Shield with Kurt Axel, so the 5. And that's pretty much your opening segment right there. Of note, Seth and Dean came out without their tag team titles. Don't know what was going on there. Probably because they don't want to make Roman look weak with the only one without any gold around his waist or shoulder, pending the belts are silver. You guys probably noticed that too when you watched it. But yeah, no belts. I thought they looked better with belts because it makes them look like they're dominating. But they have their reasons back there. Maybe they'll probably come out with their belts next week or at the pay-per-view Sunday. So let's move on. The segment ends with Angle's music playing and The Miz pointing to the Shield, indicating they suck. Just kind of like, you suck towards the ring. And actually pretty humorous, because The Miz, if you always look at his little facial face gestures and his body language, he always does little stuff just to remind you guys why he's so good. He is a fine wrestler, but his acting and his comedic skills really have grown, and as a character, he's really won me over. I think he does a great job on the mic. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. And his body language, you just see little stuff he'll do throughout the show. When the camera's on him, you just see little things that just communicate to you when he's not talking. You know, so he's good. He knows how to communicate even when his mouth's sealed. An Asuka promo for this Sunday at TLC we get following the opening segment, which segues into an interview with Emma, with Renee Young. Alexa Bliss interrupts. A good drinking game would be when one superstar interrupts another one on Raw or SmackDown. If you're hanging out with a buddy, or your girl, or your guy, try having a drink anytime one wrestler interrupts another. Even if it's backstage, or if it's a wrestler coming from backstage, or if it's a wrestler on stage being interrupted right in mid-sentence. Like, just every episode, you know, every episode you can see that. And I just feel like, you know, they got this formula going where it's just like, you know, an interruption left and right. Every episode, it's just kind of a running gag at this point. Anyway, they undermined Asuka's achievements in NXT. They said, what has she done? And I guess holding the NXT Women's Championship for 500 plus days, they're not giving it any recognition. And if she hasn't done anything on the main roster, they're not giving it credit. So I thought that to be kind of, you know, a little frustrating that they're not giving the NXT titles any love on the main roster shows, as if she's just coming from some indie circuit, you know. So I hope they get that right, and they start, you know, recognizing what she's done, because a lot of the wrestlers that she's beaten in that reign in NXT are now on the main roster. So that's probably why they're not laying that out there, because then it's like, oh, she's already laid waste to everybody on the roster except for like 2 superstars on the women's roster. So they're probably not wanting to kind of, they don't want to spoil all that, because, oh, if she could beat Emma, if she beat Emma and Bayley in NXT, then, oh, then should win again. They don't want to really expose any of that from casual fans, so you get a fresh Asuka on the scene that's 0-0. So that's what I think they're going with there. Alexa asked Emma to tag with her against Mickie James. She says she can team with her, and maybe Mickie James can team with Betty White as a tag team partner, you know, as this running gag that Mickie James is old. When she mentioned Betty White, I was waiting for a Snickers commercial to be implemented in that scene, you know, like, you're not you when you're hungry, you know, like, I'm just waiting for that at this point. It just felt like, you know, like they just really scripted that line in there just because they're trying to beat this thing over the head that, you know, it's youth versus age in this women's title, Raw Women's Championship feud. They're really trying to hammer that home. That's the whole reason they're fighting. That it's a matter of respect versus the title. Curtis Axel get some love from the fans. While Miz TV opens up, we get a reminder of the Bar versus Seth and Dean later in the show for the Raw Tag Team Championships.